Fed is significantly behind the curve. And I make the case that that's not an accident and it's not incompetence. Now, all this is occurring at a time when the Fed is no longer going to be releasing the CPI report for this month. I continue to make the case this is suspicious timing, especially considering Nowcast, for example, showed October's CPI and inflation rate plummeting. So right as we're probably going to get this show up, we seem to have no data to go on, which again, I make the case is a little bit suspect. Shelter's the biggest laggard component in the CPI basket, okay? And in the blue, you can see this is shelter, makes inflation look pretty sticky, but if you substitute for a real-time metric like ALNRI, this thing's been deflationary for well over 18 months now. And so what happens if we swap shelter with ALNRI instead? Well, of course, you can see inflation is well under control, okay? And it has been for a very, very, very long time. The Fed is significantly behind the curve. And I make the case that that's not an accident and it's not incompetence. I really do think they're doing this deliberately to bring the system down on a controlled demolition so they can usher in their CBDCs and alike. Feel free to disregard that narrative if you think the Fed is simply incompetent and you're smarter than the Fed. Also, feel free to disregard that narrative if you think the Fed has your best interest at heart. So for inflation, I'm going to take that one off as well and say the thing's still disinflationary. It's going to be disinflationary, and until we hit my invalidation of new highs, I don't have to worry about it.